Seduction, confidence, power. These aren't just buzzwords. They're forces. Forces that have shaped empires, altered history, and influenced people more than any army, fortune, or intellect ever could. But here's what most people miss. They're not separate. They're connected tightly. Master one, and the others start to rise. Master all three. You become something else entirely. People often reduce him to a manipulator, someone obsessed with control. But that's a shallow take. Machiavelli didn't just write about rulers, he dissected the inner workings of human influence. Untouchable. And no one understood this game better than Niccolo Machiavelli. To him, seduction wasn't just about attraction. It was about being irresistible in any domain: business, politics, friendships, even conflict, confidence. It wasn't just about feeling good. It was about shielding yourself with presence and power. It wasn't about brute strength, it was about perception. So let's start with the first layer of this transformation, becoming someone who doesn't chase, but effortlessly draws others in. Someone who doesn't need validation, because they already command attention. You don't need to be the most attractive. You need to be the most compelling. Use it. Let it hang heavy. Let it make people lean in. Machiavelli believed desire is born not from what we get, but from what we can't quite have. Not from pleasure, but from uncertainty, in The Prince. He wrote that people are more motivated by the fear of losing something than the hope of gaining it. What does that mean for a seduction? Simple. Tension is your greatest weapon. Not drama, tension. Don't always be available. Don't always text back. Don't always say yes. Let your presence feel and not expected. Be the question they can't stop asking. Speak just a little less than they expect. Hold eye contact but break it before they do. Smile sometimes but make them earn it. And silence. Because here's the truth. People don't chase what they understand. They chase what's just out of reach. The moment you give it all your time, your approval, your emotions, people stop valuing you. Seduction is not a performance. It's a strategy of scarcity. Stand like you own the room. Even if your heart is racing, you've been told that confidence comes from achievement, that it's something you earn once you've done enough or become enough. Quick, jerky movements signal nervousness, but slow, intentional movement signals control. But Machiavelli knew better. Let them rush. Let them fill the silence. Confidence isn't internal, it's performed. You don't wait to feel powerful. You act powerful. It's the calm that says, I'm not here to prove myself. I already know who I am. And when others see it, they reflect it back to you. And only then do you begin to believe it yourself. Ever notice how some people walk into a room and the air changes? They're not celebrities. They're not even talking. But their posture, their pace, their comet screams. I don't need you, but you might need me. Machiavelli once wrote, everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. So how do you appear powerful, especially before you feel powerful? Start with the physical. Take up space. Don't shrink. Move slower. Let others speak first. And when you do speak, make it count. Touch things slowly, your glass, your sleeve, your pen, like you have all the time in the world. And never, ever over-explain. Over-explaining is insecurity in disguise. Confidence doesn't yell. It doesn't try to convince. True confidence is quiet. It's controlled. Even if your hands are trembling, even if your mind is spinning, keep performing, and over time, the performance becomes the truth. Because real power, the kind that can't be touched, comes from emotional control. Machiavelli understood something cold but undeniable. It's not about being loved. It's about being respected, feared, admired, but always respected. And you don't get respect by dominating people. You earn it by mastering yourself. Want to be followed. Make people feel respected. Want to be protected. Make them feel seen. Want to be obeyed. Make them feel just a little bit less than you. But you can't do any of that if you haven't mastered your own emotions. So never show jealousy. It makes you look weak. Never show desperation. It makes you look dependent. Never show rage. It means that you've lost control. Too much admiration lowers your perceived value. And admiration, keep it scarce. When someone tries to get under your skin, respond with chilled attachment. When someone flatters you, stay still. Look at them like they just embarrassed themselves. When someone disrespects you, don't flinch. Your reactions create your image. The person who flinches at an insult, who tries to win approval, who smiles too wide to be liked, they fade into the background. But the one who stays calm while others scramble, that's the one people remember. That's the one they call powerful. Be the spider, not the fly. The fly buzzes round, overshares, reveals too much. Tries too hard to connect, the spider. She waits, watches, observes, asks questions, gives little, and slowly quietly weaves a web. Machiavelli wouldn't tell you to control people outright. That's brute force. He'd tell you to build traps, compliment in ways that double as challenges, ask questions that make people reveal their motives, mirror their body language, build trust without words. And when they get too close, pull back slightly, make them chase, let them think they're leading. But you've already planned the entire path. This isn't about manipulation. It's about influence. It's about seduction taken to a psychological level. Because when you've truly mastered this game, people won't even know why they follow you. They'll just know they can't help it. Let's go deeper now into the part where seduction becomes second nature. Confidence turns unshakable, and power stops being something you chase and becomes something you carry without trying. By now, you've started shifting how others see you. But here's where the real transformation begins, when you stop playing powerful and actually become it. And that starts with emotional discipline. Anyone can look confident when life's smooth. But real Machiavellian confidence gets tested in the pressure cooker when you're ignored, insulted, embarrassed, or challenged in public. And here's where most people slip. They react. They defend themselves. They try to explain or win back approval. But Machiavelli understood something sharper. The most dangerous people don't react, they absorb. They choose their moment to respond. And sometimes they don't respond at all. There's a line he wrote that sticks. A wise prince should attract attention by his conduct, not his words. But they understood one thing. People live in emotional fog. Most of us are wandering through boredom, anxiety, insecurity, or quiet longing. The Machiavellian seducer, they don't offer escape. They offer clarity, danger, possibility. They walk into the fog and become the spark that lights it up. True emotional control isn't coldness. It's power under restraint. It's feeling everything and still appearing unmoved. You become the mystery that breaks their routine, the intensity that wakes up their senses, the approval they didn't know they craved, or the challenge they suddenly feel the urge to conquer. Say just enough to stir curiosity, then pull back. Let them chase the next part. Over-explaining ruins everything. Let them wonder. It's the ability to be inside the same storm as everyone else, but look untouched by it. Machiavelli advised rulers to seem harmless while planning ruthlessly behind closed doors. It's not about lying. It's about not showing your cards before the game ends, and when you're true. Strength is finally revealed, it should feel like a lightning strike. unexpected, undeniable. Impossible to reverse identity. So how do you train for that? Start small. When someone insults you, don't defend yourself. Just let it hang in the air. You become the mirror through which they see their best self. And Machiavelli wasn't telling you to be cruel, he was showing you how power actually works. Praise them only when they act in alignment with that role. Withdraw when they break character. Watch the panic set in. Because now they don't just want you, they need you. To keep believing in who they think they are. They absorb their identity from others, from their culture, their partners, their leaders. If you become the one who gives someone a strong sense of identity, protector, rebel, genius, seducer, you don't just become important, you become irreplaceable. Because in the end, people don't fall for who you are. They fall for how they feel about themselves when they're around you. Don't hand over your core values too soon. Don't show how much you care. If no one knows what bothers you, they won't know where to poke. And if no one sees your limit, they assume you have none. Your seduction becomes second nature. You're no longer running a strategy. And never, ever reveal what gets under your skin. If you can reflect back to someone the best version of themselves, they'll never forget you. Smile faintly. Watch their confusion. When someone tries to impress you, don't rush to validate them. It was a tool, a weapon. A message. If you know something, if you're planning something, they orbit. They lean in. They sense the shift. They feel the weight you carry without needing to lift your voice. Because you're no longer out there looking for options. They don't know why they respect you, they just do. They tread carefully. They crave your approval. They fear your silence more than your anger. That's the kind of confidence no one can touch. Because external power without internal strength is fragile. It cracks under pressure, so you need to build an inner world that's solid, quietly powerful, hard to shake, impossible to read. Stay neutral. Hold the frame. When something rattles you, pause, breathe. Let time do the work for you. Over time, this turns you into a fortress, not a wall of steel, but of silence. People feel it. Now let's clear up a myth. Seduction isn't just about romance. It's influence without force. It's persuasion without resistance. When most people hear seduce, they think bedroom. But Machiavelli saw it as something much wider. Seduction is when you make people want to align with you, lower their guard, see you as the answer to something they deeply want: status, love, validation, protection, even rebellion. That's why the most seductive people in history, Cleopatra, Casanova, Julius Caesar, they weren't always the most beautiful. You don't sell yourself, you sell a feeling. Want to be seductive without saying a word? Learn to speak to their cravings, not their words. Mirror how they feel. Then elevate it slightly. But above all, make them feel seen in a way no one else does. Power, when it's real, doesn't have to shout. It waits. Then strikes. This is where you must learn the art of withholding. Don't reveal your end goals. Don't expose your next move. This isn't about being cold. It's about protection. Because if no one knows what you're planning, they can't sabotage it. A truly powerful person speaks less but watches more. Machiavelli warned, "He who builds on the people builds on mud." Loyalties shift. Perceptions lie. Trust slowly. Speak little. Always stay 2 moves ahead. Now let's talk about something darker but wildly effective. People crave belonging. It's wired into us. But most people don't really know who they are. You don't have to threaten them. They'll stay close on their own. This is how fanatics are made. It's how cult leaders grow. It's how kings build loyalists who would rather die than switch sides. Because when someone ties their identity to your approval, you don't need chains, they'll chain themselves. And here's the twist. Once you've been performing this role long enough, once you've withheld, seduced, held your frame, moved in silence, something strange happens. The mask fuses to your face. You don't have to pretend anymore. Your body posture changes. Your way of speaking sharpens. Your restraint turns into instinct. You've become the strategy. That's when real danger begins for everyone else. You are the option. And slowly, without effort, the people around you adjust. This is when the outside world you've been shaping finally needs to match your core. You need to become a master of perception, not by what you say, but by what you don't. This is where Machiavelli's real genius reveals itself. Silence, in his world, wasn't just the absence of noise. And the fewer words you use, the more others project onto you. They wonder if you're mad. That wondering, that's your leverage, seduction, confidence, power. These aren't just buzzwords, they're forces that have shaped empires, altered history, and influenced people more than any army, fortune, or intellect ever could. Master one, and the others start to rise. Master all three. You become something else entirely. Untouchable. But here's what most people miss. They're not separate. They're connected tightly. People often reduce him to a manipulator, someone obsessed with control. But that's a shallow take. Machiavelli didn't just write about rulers, he dissected the inner workings of human influence. Becoming someone who doesn't chase, but effortlessly draws others in. Someone who doesn't need validation, because they already command attention, and no one understood this game better than Niccolo. Machiavelli, what does that mean for a seduction? Simple. Tension is your greatest weapon. To him, seduction wasn't just about attraction. It was about being irresistible in any domain: business, politics, friendships, even conflict, confidence. It wasn't just about feeling good. It was about shielding yourself with presence and power. It wasn't about brute strength, it was about perception. So let's start with the first layer of this transformation. Use it. Let it hang heavy. Let it make people lean in. You don't need to be the most attractive. You need to be the most compelling. Smile sometimes, but make them earn it. Machiavelli believed desire is born not from what we get, but from what we can't quite have. Not from pleasure, but from uncertainty. In The Prince, he wrote that people are more motivated by the fear of losing something than the hope of gaining it. Not drama, tension. Don't always be available. Don't always text back. Don't always say yes. Let your presence feel and not expected. Be the question they can't stop asking. Speak just a little less than they expect. Hold eye contact, but break it before they do. They are not celebrities. They're not even talking and silence. Because here's the truth. People don't chase what they understand. They chase what's just out of reach. The moment you give it all your time, your approval, your emotions, people stop valuing you. Seduction is not a performance. It's a strategy. A strategy of scarcity. You've been told that confidence comes from achievement. That it's something you earn once you've done enough or become enough. But Machiavelli knew better. Confidence isn't internal, it's performed. You don't wait to feel powerful. You act powerful. And when others see it, they reflect it back to you. And only then do you begin to believe it yourself. Ever notice how some people walk into a room and the air changes, but their posture, their pace, their comment screams, "I don't need you. But you might need me. I already know who I am." Machiavelli once wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. So how do you appear powerful, especially before you feel powerful? Start with the physical. Take up space. Don't shrink. Stand like you own the room, even if your heart is racing. Don't argue. Don't defend. A calm, unreadable face will rattle them more than a sharp comeback ever could. Move slower. Quick, jerky movements signal nervousness, but slow. Intentional movement signals control. That gap you leave the one where others wonder what you ray. Really thinking becomes the place where your legend forms in conversation. Resist the urge to fill every pause. When someone expects a response, wait. Let them squirm in the silence. Let their thoughts run wild. When they ask for approval, don't give it right away. In those gaps, you become more than a person. You become a story, a symbol, a myth. But that approval, it's a trap. The more you need it, the less power you hold. And Machiavelli knew, the person who wants less owns more. Make them feel the weight of your judgment. Let them chase certainty that you never fully give. Let others speak first. Let them rush. Let them fill the silence. And when you do speak, make it count. That subtle amusement shows they didn't even come close to rattling you. Let your presence feel like a privilege, not an obligation. Touch things slowly, your glass, your sleeve, your pen, like you have all the time in the world. And never, ever over-explain. Over-explaining is insecurity in disguise. Confidence doesn't yell. It doesn't try to convince. The battlefield isn't just out there, it's in your own mind. It doesn't whisper you're enough. It commands, be more or be ruled. True confidence is quiet. It's controlled. It's the calm that says, I'm not here to prove myself. Even if your hands are trembling, even if your mind is spinning, keep performing, and over time, the performance becomes the truth. When you're desired by many, but choose only a few. But if your internal world is noisy, full of insecurity, doubt, resentment, no external tactic will save you. You'll still crack when challenged, still shrink when insulted, still chase when ignored. You don't chase, you pull. And when others realize they could be replaced, but you can't, they treat you differently. Forever. So how do you turn silence into power? You start using negative space. When someone challenges or criticizes you, stay still. In group settings, speak last. Let others reveal their intentions, their weaknesses. And when you do speak, make it count. One precise line, then withdraw. People don't remember what was said. They remember what wasn't. They obsess over the spaces you leave, the glances, the silences, the restraint. That's the final layer of this transformation, rejection, becoming the prize, not the seeker. Most people live their lives chasing approval from family, lovers, followers, strangers online. Power belongs to the one who can walk away. That doesn't mean you become cold or arrogant. It means you become selective. You stop needing. You start choosing. When someone tries too hard to be near you, step back. When someone fails to meet your standards, don't explain. Just withdraw. When you're invited, somewhere pause. Delay your answer. When someone tries to insult you, don't react, smile. Rejection makes you rare, and rarity makes you powerful. That's the deepest form of seduction. But here's the part most people never get to. Psychological warfare starts with self-talk. You can perform the posture. You can use the silence. That's why the Machiavellian mind speaks a different language. It's not soft, it's sharp. So rewrite your script. Instead of "I hope they like me," Say, let's see if they're worth my attention. Instead of I'm nervous, say this is how power is sharpened. Instead of what if they reject me, say good. Now I see their value. Instead of why did they? Treat me like that, say I allowed it once. No one owes you respect. You earn it by becoming undeniable. And that starts with how you speak to yourself when no one's watching. You're either your strongest general or your first traitor. Now let's talk about something subtle but dangerous. The frame. The person who defines that frame controls the whole conversation without even needing to argue. In every interaction, there's a hidden lens, a frame that defines how everything is perceived. This is one of the most underused psychological powers. Most people argue facts, but Machiavellians, they define context. Let's say someone says, "You're being arrogant." Don't defend, just respond. Confidence only looks like arrogance too. Insecure people. If someone interrupts you or talks over you, don't get louder. Go quiet. Then ask calmly, "Are you finished?" The room will shift. If someone starts gossiping around you, don't engage. Ask, "Why are you comfortable telling me this?" The suspicion turns toward them. You don't fight frames. You reframe, or better yet, you build your own. This is how you become the narrator, not the audience. The script writer, not the actor. The man who smiles slightly while others panic. Who listens but reveals nothing. Who speaks rarely, but every word hits like a gavel. And now, we enter the final room of this transformation, fortress energy. Every time you reveal a wound too early, or a goal too openly, you give others a map to exploit you. There's a type of presence that doesn't just get attention, it commands it without trying. The little twitches in your face, the shift in your voice, the blink too long, these are giveaways. Learn to pause, breathe, hold your face still. The energy that earns respect without words, and once that respect is instinctual, it's nearly impossible to undo. That's fortress energy. Machiavelli once said every ruler needs a fortress, but in our world, your mind is the fortress. So how do you cultivate it? Start with solitude. If you can't be alone, you'll never be powerful. Meeting others makes you dependent. Dangerous men are self-contained. Next, stop oversharing. You've shaped perception. You've performed confidence. You've weaponized silence, scarcity, and framing. Train in silence. Build in private. Let people think you've disappeared while you're actually upgrading. And most of all, master your micro-reactions. How to become something more than a person. A fortress doesn't flinch. It watches, it calculates, and when it strikes, it finishes. This is the energy that makes others second-guess themselves around you. So by now, you've built the outer layer. But there's one final level. Let them feel something they didn't expect: curiosity, fear, or excitement. Not just being respected now, but being remembered forever. On what broke the pattern? On what felt unforgettable? Because this is what Machiavelli truly wanted to teach. Not just how to gain power, but how to keep it. When you leave someone's life, don't give them closure. Give them mystery. Don't over-explain, just vanish. Let them wonder. A presence. Calm is heavier than chaos. Leave before they get used to you. Why does it feel off now that you're gone? Stay silent long enough that they miss you. But by becoming a phenomenon when you are, disappear without a trace and let the silence get loud. Drop hints, then change the subject. Let them overhear praise but never say it yourself. Don't correct rumors. Don't explain your past. Let mystery work for you. A reference point. Legend. Here's how you get there. They know when to arrive, what to say, and when to disappear. presence is a weapon, not a routine. Become their standard, the one everyone else is measured against. When you enter a room, be different, speak less, observe more, then withdraw. You are not just playing the role. Anymore, you've become the archetype, the king, the queen, the flame, the enigma, the force. Why does it work? Because the mind fixates on contrast. You don't haunt people like a ghost. You haunt them like a memory they can't recreate. Your presence becomes performance. Your absence becomes an event. There are only two kinds of people in the end: those whose presence is background noise, and those whose absence feels like a missing organ. Machiavellians designed that. Effect, so show up rarely but with weight. Don't always be available. Scarcity builds mystique. Move with calm, not with hype. Let people wonder, did they do something wrong? That's how you turn absence into power. That's how legends are made, not by being present all the time. Finally build your myth. Let others tell your story. Because once people start filling in the blanks for themselves, they always imagine you as more than you really are. And that imagined power, that's the one they'll never forget at this point. You've gone far beyond tactics. You don't act confident. You are confidence. You don't seem powerful. You are power. You don't seduce. You are seduction. You don't intimidate. You are the feeling people get when they're around someone who cannot be shaken. And when you reach that level, you don't chase anything, because everything begins to chase you.